Mia Carter had learned to survive on very little. At 22, she worked 2 jobs, lived in a tiny apartment above an old bakery, and owned almost nothing she couldn't carry in 2 bags. What she didn't know was that someone had been watching her for years and waiting for the perfect moment to destroy her. That moment came on a rainy Monday morning. Mia worked as a junior assistant at Sterling Enterprises, a luxury company where everyone seemed richer, better dressed, and more connected than she was. She kept her head down and worked harder than anyone. Then her manager, Daniel Reed, stormed into her office. "Security found these in your drawer." He dropped a velvet pouch onto her desk. Mia stared at it in confusion. Inside were expensive diamond earrings. "I've never seen those before." Daniel's expression hardened. "They belong to the CEO's wife. They disappeared from her private office yesterday." Within minutes, security surrounded Mia. Her heart pounded. "You have to believe me. Someone put them there." But nobody listened. The company's head of security opened her locker and found another envelope containing $20,000 in cash. Daniel folded his arms. "Looks like we know why she did it." Mia felt tears burn her eyes. "I didn't steal anything." "You're fired," he said. Then the police arrived. As Mia was escorted through the lobby, employees whispered and stared. Some recorded her with their phones. The girl who had always been invisible had suddenly become the company's biggest scandal. Outside, she was placed into a police car. But before the door closed, a black limousine stopped directly in front of the building. A tall man in a dark suit stepped out. The entire street seemed to go silent. Mia recognized him immediately. Everyone did. Alexander Carter was one of the richest businessmen in the country, founder of Carter Global, a billionaire whose name appeared on magazines and financial news almost every week. He walked straight toward her. Mia stared at him, confused. "Sir," the officer said, "you need to step back." Alexander didn't even look at him. He looked only at Mia. His expression broke. "My daughter." Mia froze. "What?" Alexander reached into his coat and pulled out an old photograph. It showed a young woman holding a baby girl. "I've searched for you for 22 years. The officer lowered his hand from the car door. Mia shook her head. "No, that's impossible." Alexander's voice trembled. "Your mother disappeared with you after we were separated. I thought you were both dead." Mia stared at the photograph. The baby wore a tiny silver bracelet. Mia slowly looked at her own wrist. She had worn the same bracelet her entire life. The street erupted in whispers. Alexander turned toward the police. "Now," he said calmly, "I want to know who framed my daughter." Daniel had been watching from the lobby. His face went pale. Alexander's security team immediately requested the company's surveillance footage. Within an hour, they discovered something shocking. The security cameras showed Daniel entering Mia's office late Sunday night. He had placed the jewelry and cash inside her drawer. But there was more. Financial records revealed Daniel had been stealing money from the company for nearly a year. Mia had accidentally discovered irregular transactions the previous week and reported them to accounting. Daniel had framed her to silence her. When police returned to the company, Daniel tried to escape through the parking garage. He didn't get far. Mia watched as officers arrested him. A week later, Alexander brought Mia to his enormous home overlooking the city. She stood in the marble entrance, overwhelmed. "I don't know how to be your daughter," she whispered. Alexander smiled sadly. "You don't have to become anyone else. I spent 22 years searching for you. I'm not going to spend another day asking you to change." Mia looked at him. "For the first time," she said, "I think I finally know where I belong." Months later, Mia returned to Sterling Enterprises, not as an assistant, but as the new director of an employee support foundation created by Alexander. She used her position to help workers who had been ignored, judged, or mistreated simply because they were poor. At the foundation's opening ceremony, Alexander stood beside her. A reporter asked Mia, "What was the greatest lesson you learned from everything that happened?" Mia smiled. "That being poor never made me worthless, and being rich never made my father love me. He loved me because I was his daughter." Alexander reached for her hand. The cameras flashed. The girl everyone had once called a thief had become a symbol of courage, and the people who had judged her learned a lesson they would never forget. Sometimes the person you think has nothing is the one with a powerful story waiting to be revealed.